Hey, I can't hear you. I can't hear anything. Should I log in again? But I have not heard anything from you. Okay. Thank you, Ankita, for having me here on NASSCOM Product Connect. Hello, everyone. Hey, can you hear me, guys? Ankita, could you hear me? Cool. Okay, I'll just carry on. Okay. Hello, everyone. Imagine you launched a product and it failed miserably. Nothing new for the product managers, as data says more than 80% of new product fail soon after the launch. Do you know what are the reasons for this failure? Majority of product fails because product managers or companies fail to understand what their users really want and what are their problem areas. Even if some company manage to understand their problem areas, they can't create a product that can add value to the user. Reason is somebody from the competition or some of the competitor have already created the product which solve that problem in a better way or unique way. So whenever you launch the product, that is not adding any value to the user, so they are not using it. It's a tough problem. I believe that PM can turn the tide here, just using two of the very important attributes of product management. Very first one is strategic thinking, and second one is design thinking. So let's discuss what is this product management, what is this strategic thinking. It is the ability to come up with effective plans in line with the organization objective and goals within a particular economic condition. Here important point is economic condition, because strategy changes with different economic conditions. For product manager, it means to see and understand the bigger picture, what the organization is, where it needs to go, and how organization will go there. Let's go into detail of strategic thinking, what it talks about. It allows analysis of different situations and problem. Guys, we probably do quite a bit of strategic thinking in all aspects of our life. So strategic thinking helps solve problem in coordination with different people and from varying perspective. Thus helps to prepare a plan that take us to the new level or throw some change. It provides inputs to strategic planning. So here there are two things now: strategic thinking, strategic planning. Both are different things. Strategic thinking is an input to strategic planning, and strategic planning is about the roadmap. It's about from where we are right now and where we want to go. It also takes care of the impact and issue that will occur during the change. Very important point in strategic thinking is that it creates new possibilities and opportunities. Mostly in strategic thinking process, we discuss on a broad range of topics and categories in a brainstorming session that can lead us to fantastic new ideas, as the process here involves around asking questions. So now the point is, what are those questions? So I will show you 5 questions which can help you to think strategically. Very first question is, what problem are we trying to solve? It is about clearly understanding the customer problem from their point of view, so that a relevant product that can add value instead of just doing improvement in the current product. Second important question here is, how we can best solve the problem and create sustainable value. Okay, this is about using your critical thinking skill to not only find the root cause of the problem, but also to find new ways to solve the problem in an innovative way, which can add value to the customers and to your organization. Third question is, what is my offering specific purpose, offering or product? So, we product managers are great at articulating what our product is doing. But here we need to identify what our product does not do. As you guys know, that strategy is about making choices. What we do, what we don't do. And fourth point, which is about how you can ensure that your product is successful every day. It is about taking full responsibility of the product and deciding what all metrics to be tracked so as to achieve the goal. It is also about thinking how business numbers can be tracked from data, how data analysis to be done, and further improvements plan, if needed, should be done. Fifth, and the important question is, what might the landscape changes tomorrow, next month, next year? Nowadays, industries has become very much dynamic. I would talk about online industry, their 2-year plan is kind of long-term plan nowadays because situation changes very rapidly within a week also with the implementation of some new technology. So here product manager will have to think, it is about doing risk analysis and developing contingency plans. I will tell you the best way which I implement here about assuming that you launch a product and it fails. So what are the attributes, what are the parameters which cause the product to fail? Okay, just note down those parameters and start working on those parameters right now so that those issues or points can be fixed and those points could not come in your future, which can affect your launch and the success of the product. It is also about how well we can adjust and change the course of plan in case landscape changes. Many times it is about reinventing when things do not go as planned. After this, I will talk about strategic planning process. There are 4 steps in this process. Very first one is, what are we doing now? It is about the current state. Second one, what is happening in the environment? Third is, what should business be doing? And the final fourth one is how we can execute. I will walk you through one by one. Among them, the very first one, how we are doing the business. Okay. It is about the current status, identification of implicit and explicit current strategy, what is happening currently, implied assumption about my company, our company position, brand positioning, competition, industry trend on current strategy. And then the second step is what is happening in the environment. It is about understanding the industry, in doing industry analysis, the competitors analysis, and finding out what are the factors for competitive success. You can use different framework like SWOT analysis for competitive analysis, and there is a competitive analysis framework also that you can use. Third step, which is very important step, is about what should our business be doing. You already have vision defined for your company, and now you have also created strategy. It is about testing those strategy and assumptions on which strategy has been based, finding out strategic alternatives, defining your strategic choices out of those alternatives, and also defining the long-term and short-term goals and objectives. The last step is about execution. So now you have everything ready. You know vision, you know strategy, you know your strategic alternatives, and you have short-term and long-term goal fixed. Okay, now it's about doing some action. You will have to define the action plans. What are the action plans? And you will have to define the responsibilities of those actions. Okay, and once you start doing execution, It's always about tracking and review the progress and asking a lot of questions if that is not going as per the plan. After this, I will talk you about strategic planning principles. There are mainly three principles which help us to go further. Very first one, set a clear direction. It is important to set a clear direction and stay in your lane. It includes articulating a vision, mission, and goal for the organization and for the product. Understanding organizational core competency because that defines your direction, which includes what are we good at, finding out, and how we are going to compete in the market. Second principle is about saying no to distractions. Clearly prioritize the list of activities you have to do. You can use here 2x2 matrix, where you can put growth on y-axis and profitable market share on x-axis, and you can create 4 quadrant, and you can put every product feature within those quadrant and prioritize them, on the basis what is important for you, either growth or market share. And the third important point is diversifying your bets. It's about making sure you have diversified portfolio of initiatives and then you execute the strategic plan. Okay, and now your strategic plan has been created. And what is the output of this planning? It's about the deliverables, what you will deliver from this entire process. Okay, it is about strategic plan document, because now you have created a strategic plan. This should be communicated within the organization. So you create a document, and your strategic planning is based on the core competencies. You define those core competencies and document that even, so that everybody in the company is aware of this thing. And you, on the basis of that core competency, you make a list of priorities and initiatives. And finally, you create the implementation plan, which include sequence plan and resource allocation. Now your strategic planning is ready, okay, and your deliverables are also ready. It is now important to understand what are the risk factors in this. Okay, what can change your course? There are 5 factors here. It is about relevance of your existing capabilities. Are your strength and core competency have relevant to this opportunity, new opportunity you are thinking of? Channel, are your product is distributed through the same channel which is currently you are using? Cost structure and infrastructure, is the cost and infrastructure the same as the current one, your current which is happening currently in your operation? Customers, are you going to serve the same customer or different customer? Because if customers are same, then you know them very well. Okay, and if customers are different, then you will have to create their profile, understand their profile, what they do, what they don't do, what they like, what are their pain areas and everything. And also understand about the competitors. Either you are going to fight with the same competitors about whom you have all knowledge about their strategy and everything, their strategy, their capabilities and their assumption, or they are new set of competitors which can create problem for you in the future. So this completes the entire strategic analysis part, strategic thinking part of our initiatives. Now I will walk you through the second important aspect of our presentation, which is design thinking. So design thinking is a methodology, which is useful in tackling complex problems that are ill-defined or unknown. Okay, how we do that? By understanding the human needs involved and reframing the problem in human-centric way. Let's see, what slide says more detail about this. I just take some more points. Design thinking is also about having involvement of cross-functional teams. Okay, and it takes care of continuous design, not a single stage of designing, which include full spectrum of researches. you everything about your customer, and here we create prototype more often than once. Okay, so very first point says the same thing: solving complex problem using systematic reasoning and intuition to explore ideal future state. As I said, it is done with user in mind first and foremost. In design thinking, we only focus on user problems, and just we keep ourselves in user shoes and understand about everything about user. What are their motivation? What they think, and accordingly, we try to solve the problem. Design thinking is the single biggest competitive advantage for the business. Reason is because it solves the customer needs first. There are many companies like Google, Airbnb, Apple, Microsoft, SAP, and Netflix who are using this design thinking, to solve their, customer user problem. So now we understood what the design thinking is, but what is the approach of implementing this? I will take you in the next slide. So this is bit, a complicated flow. I will make it simple for you. So in design thinking, there are 5 steps. Okay, and there is no these steps are not linear, these are iterative. You first empathize with the customer, define the problem, ideate the solution, and create the prototype and test it. So I will walk you through each and every step, what you do in every stage. Let's talk about empathize. you know it is about putting yourself in the shoes of customer and see their world and understand their feeling to gain insight about what they need, what they want, how they behave, feel, and think. Once you have all this data, then it's come the second stage, which is define. Here is where you analyze observations which you gather from after empathizing with the user and synthesize them in order to define the core problems customer is facing. Okay, and you define the problem as a problem statement in a human-centric term. Some of the consumer terms, what are the problems they are facing, when they face it, how they face it. Okay, so as this image also shows empathizing to help in define the problem. Now the third stage is ideation. Now you have, with all the background, you start to think outside of box to identify new solutions to the problem statement you have created. You start to look for alternative ways of viewing the problem, having different perspective, and there are some additional technique which you can use. One of them which I have used is brainstorming. Brainstorming in group where you have all stakeholders involved in the discussion. After this, you create the prototype. As in design approach, we need to move faster. So the best approach here for prototyping is you create the sketch, you do the paper prototyping, and you just do the low fidelity prototyping by using some of the tools. One of the example is Bulsmic you can use here. And here when you do the prototyping, you learn from that and you create some of the new ideas. Let's say example, while creating a prototyping, I thought about only 3 features, but after doing that, I know what my customer is facing problem, and then I thought, okay, maybe 4th feature also I should add in. So you ideate about that feature and then create the prototype of this. So it's iterative here. It's closing the loop. And the final step, which is test. It is about testing the complete product using best solution identified during the prototyping phase. It's about usability testing and course correction as per the result. So what is the way here? You just build it, test it, and learn from it. And here you can see it's closing the loop. How you learn about user through testing. Okay, you test, create new ideas for the project. Here you do that, and it reveals new insights that refine the problem. So it's an iterative process. After 2 or 3 or 4 iterations, you will have the best solution which your user wants, and that too with the quickest of time possible. So it is the, as I said, this is the final stage testing. This is an iterative process The results generated during the testing phase are often used to redefine one or more problems and then learn about the user. Okay, so we went through this approach. We know how it goes, how it can be done, but it is very important to understand where it fits in the business. As I said, it is with multi-department participation. You need to have representative from all department, such as business, product, management, marketing, development, QA, design, and operations. It's totally customer centric, focused on pain areas of the customer. As we are discussing about this, we know here we only focus about the pain areas of the customer. So how this helps you? You get started faster because your entire team within the internal stakeholders are involved in defining the problem. So you can start faster. Your whole team now understand what they are building. Goals are very clear to everyone and based on customer needs. Many times we product manager face issues like we define the problem and we give that to technology team to work on. They don't have any idea, they don't have any clues. So in design thinking, we involve all stakeholders so that everybody would be on the same platform. And when everybody is aware about the goal, customer needs, customer problems, then feature prioritization also become very easier because everybody thinks on the same way. Okay, and the USP here is systematic approach to transform data into UI and product. As I explained, you have number of 5 steps. You get data in the very first stage, you analyze it, define problem, and then using analysis, you create UI first, and then after testing, you create the product out of this. The quality of this design thinking is that it follows agile and lean methodology. It follows sprint and help develop better products, and so go to market happens sooner because we are on the same platform, we people in the organization, and we know everything very well. So the communication gap is least in this case. Going further, what are the advantages of design thinking? I will walk you through that. Again, communication and course correction. It just takes a couple of weeks to see the result through design thinking because the process is very fast here. Here, feasibility will not be an issue as tech team was part of your design thinking, as I explained earlier. Costing will be clear as marketing and business team was also part of these meetings and discussions. Here you can use multiple approaches to test and update the product as per the need. That happens once you create the prototype, you see what all things are missing, you came up with new idea, you align that in your product with a feature that is done at the prototype stage. And it causes a better communication among all stakeholders because every stakeholder is on the same platform. Second point, time to market and testing idea. It reduces time to market because of the close collaboration and rich clarity among all stakeholders. So in case you have offshore and outsourcing teams, okay, so this also, these teams also can take part in that, maybe offline. How? For offshore and outsourcing team, you can share artifacts which you create during a discussion, experience map for the customer journey, yeah, also sharing the prototype, sharing video of prototype interaction that you were having when you collaborative work on design thinking. Final one, so for the non-agile organization, so as I said, design thinking normally follows the sprint agile process. Okay, so as per my understanding, what I propose is for non-agile organization, try first project in agile using design thinking. You will be amazed to see the quality of product and the time it takes, the least time or lesser time it takes to go to the market. Going further, I will share, I read about this customer experience relationship framework, how different companies create the better connection, create the connection with the customer, and how they do that. So there are 3 parameters they think on: breadth, consistency, and depth. I will walk you through that. Breadth is about frequency of interaction with the customer. Consistency refers to connectedness and cohesiveness of brand ethos with the customer. It causes reliability. So let's take the example of Nike here. Frequency of interaction with the customer. So once you buy a product of Nike, you don't just buy the product, you buy the experience also, because in addition to the product, shoes which you get, okay, you also can install many apps, few apps. Using that you can see how fit you are. You can count the steps. You can see how much, by running, how much distance you have covered. Okay. And the second point, connectedness, consistency. It's about feeling connectedness and cohesiveness with the brand ethos. So talking about Nike, what is their mission statement? That is about bringing inspiration and innovation to every athlete. And they believe that if you have a body, you are an athlete. Means every person is an athlete. And third is depth, extent to which emotional and high-end needs are met. As it says, that everybody is athlete. Who is have a body is athlete. It's connect with every people. Okay, and this is data which I got from McKinsey, just to see how design thinking helps at the business level also, for two parameters, mainly revenue and the return to shareholders. So you see the gray line is the industry standard, and the violet line is a top quartile of the company in as per the McKinsey Design Index performance. So if you see revenue, you can find out that revenue of those companies who are in top quartile of design index, the revenue is twice that of the industry standard. So here design thinking has played a very important role. So there's a paper from McKinsey, or article from McKinsey, which talks a lot about this. I have just captured a glimpse of it. And the second parameter for the business is return to stakeholder. Here also you see it's compared to industry standard, it's around 1.5%. It's around 1.5 times to 2 times of the industry standard. Okay, this completes the presentation. So I will talk about the things from my experience, how strategic thinking and design thinking helped me to create better products. Okay, and I would go to the last slide here. Just I will go to the question. Yeah. So how strategic thinking helped me to come up with better product? So again, asking all these 5 questions. In 14 to 16, I was working with Ask Me Bazaar. So there, we found out. So we were fighting with all e-commerce companies, Snapdeal, Flipkart, and everybody. So you might be doing that time drivers for growth was, it's about discount, convenience, and value-added services. Okay, so discounts was in the business. We found out that we could not stay longer because we didn't have deep pockets. So what we should do was solving the customer problem. So when I went through the first question, what problem we are trying to solve, that time we got the data that around 55 or 56% of the customer it was in 15, when it was taking around 10 to 12 days to get the delivery done. Okay, once you place an order. So we found data saying that 55% of the customers are willing to pay extra if they get the fast delivery within 1 and 2 days. So we thought this is a biggest area where we can work on and we can solve their problem. Okay. Then again, asking the second question, how we can best solve the problem and create sustainable value. Okay. So we thought, okay, how we can do so? It can be done only, by serving the hyperlocal way. Asking Bazaar was a true, I would say, marketplace, because they were not having, they are totally into consignment model, because they were not having warehouses. So it was truly, we get the order and get the product. We take the order from platform, take the product from sellers, and deliver that to buyers. So we thought, how we can do that in within 1 and 2 days, only by going the hyperlocal way. Okay, where we get the order from customer in a city and fulfill them from the seller from the same city, and delivery should happen. We made the tag delivery should happen within 48 hours. And after going to third point, what is my offering specific purpose? It's about what we will provide them, what my product will solve. It's about finding telling that what my product will do and what will not do. We will offer within a city on certain types of category, not every kind of product we can serve people. Okay, then again, going to all these steps, uh, it's about how can I ensure that my product is successful or not every day. So it's about I will track the success metrics on daily basis, and understanding from the data that what I need to do so as to solve the customer problem better and resolve their issues. And also about risk analysis, maybe the case if some other problem, maybe Snapdeal that time come into that picture and start doing something by its own. Okay, then working on that side, what are the contingency plan in those cases? So after going through that, we created a unique value proposition for the customer, and we also got a business where we started serving a new segment of the customer which nobody was thought of. Okay, so this was kind of B2R, business to retail people, which we started serving of. So in addition to these questions, what questions we answered, whether this business is worth the next day delivery we thought about, what should be advantage of this business and the product for us, how this product would fit into our existing product line, because already Ask Me Bazaar was a website there which was on the national model, getting the product for any seller and delivering that to customer. Okay, and was there any competitor in that segment, or what we have to do if some competitors come into the picture. And the final one about the core competency, whether we have marketing, operational, technical competency to launch this business and product successfully. Yeah, so after doing that, we came to the design thinking, where people from multi-department and thought about how we can create the customer journey. So we thought about, at that time GST was not there, so create a city-wise pages where city-wise product could be visible. Customer can see its prices, because the same product can have different prices in Delhi and Mumbai. Okay, and then we created the customer journey, entire platform was created, and it was launched. On launch, it was a big success for askmebazaar.com. Okay, and it sustained for a year, but then something happened with the funding agency. It was funding Ask Me Bazaar, and Ask Me Bazaar could not sustain longer as a company. But that product was a big success for Ask Me Bazaar. Okay, guys, that completes the session from my end. I'm happy to answer your questions. Hey, Angita. Yeah, on my left hand side. Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, so my voice was breaking. Okay. Yeah. I start from there. Okay. No problem. No problem. That's fine. Hi, everyone. I take the question now. Uh, Priyanka Mehta is asking. Thanks, Priyanka, for asking the question. Should design thinking be done only for a new product, or it can be incorporated in the existing product roadmap? Hey, it can be done with the existing product roadmap also. Like every feature should have some business justification. Okay, so whenever you are ready to start this, because in design thinking you will have to follow the agile methodology. Okay, and in many startups, many companies, this has not been followed as of now. So yeah, You can start anytime whenever you feel it's okay to go with. Okay, because it creates the best quality product where you understand the needs of customer and go to market is very less. Okay, now I can see. Okay, from Suman Rawat. Thank you, Suman, for asking question. How product owners and product managers are different? Hey, so from my experience, I would say in India, product managers and owners are both are same. Okay, but if I go in the theory part of this, so person who own the product through method, agile methodology is called product owner, and normally it is product manager. But I'm not also sure about this. But in India, even though me as a product manager, I follow agile methodology. I am also always called product managers only, not product owner. So maybe I could not give you answer very well on this. Can you specify, Abhijit Anand? Thanks, Abhijit, for asking the question. Can you specify the need-based strategy in a bit? Hello, guys, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Sudhanshu.
Okay, okay. So
You want me to help you out with the questions?
yeah, that would be great because my panel is
Yeah.
very small. I could not, just walk through it.
Okay. So let me just begin. And ask you the next question. So the next question is, what are the certifications to do to stay relevant in the PM role?
You know, again, I will
Especially
talk from my
in
experience
the analytics and
only.
AI space.
Yeah, yeah. So, uh, if I see my circle, my friends, we have not done any certification. Okay, it's about getting familiar with the industry. It's about learning new technologies. Okay, like learning about new tools. Like there are many analytics tool, documentation tool. New technologies are coming in, like AI, blockchain. Understanding those things, and I don't feel from my experience there is a need of certification on this. You learn the course. These courses are available through online and offline channels. You learn about it. Okay, and once you have a knowledge, you can show that to other people, your top management, during the interview process. So I think getting knowledge is very much important through any mean. For In my current organization, in addition to product management responsibility, I also take care of the processes. So if you are also into that roles, then you can do Six Sigma to understand the process and create new processes. Because from my understanding, people never fail, process only fails. So process, our process developing process has become very much important now because of changing industry dynamics and so much chaos in the environment. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Sudhanshu, for this answer. The next one is, how can we use design thinking in product management? I mean, is there any option to use it in the complete process of product management?
Design. So if I see the design thinking, it's about finding the relevant need of the customer. Okay, so that he can have the best experience where you solve his problems and create the best experience for him which is relevant to him. So as I talked about 5 steps, you empathize with the customer, you define the problem. Okay, you create the prototype and you test it. Okay, so this help you to get the very much relevant to the customer needs. After that, if you talk about the entire product management, there are many other steps. Like once you get the requirement, and you validate the requirement, you create documents and you communicate that to your technology team so that they could develop it, and then you test on different stages and you design the go-to market. and see the feedback, in the live or in the production, what the feedback of the customer. So design thinking helps you to cater the customer need in the best possible way. So after that, normal product management and project management starts. Okay, so design thinking does not take care of entire product management life cycle. It takes care of one of the steps in product management life cycle.
All right.
Yeah.
The next question is how design thinking supports industry-specific regulation, that is data privacy, pharma, medical devices, etc.
I don't think on these. So from my experience, I don't think we'll have to think about all these specifications or compliance things. The reason is, I have certain customers, okay, and I need to solve the problem for them. That's why I use design thinking. And how I do design thinking differently from normal requirement gathering. Here I involve all stakeholder. I somehow touch my customer in a better way, and then get the requirement. So from my experience, as currently I'm in payment industry where there's so much of compliance, design there's no compliance has taught me to understand my customer better and using design thinking as of now.
All right. The next question is by Priyanka. She's asking, should design thinking be done only for a few products or it can be incorporated in the existing product map?
Hey, it can be done for existing product map also, and not only about the type of product, like online, offline, any kind of product. I tell you, the leaders in design thinking are Apple, as I explained in my slide, Apple, Nike, okay, Netflix. So everybody is using design thinking in their product development. So you can use this to start develop the product from scratch, as well as if you do the extension of the product. In both stages you can use it.
All right. The next question is how product owner and product management is different.
Hey, actually, I could not answer this question very well because I'm not sure about it. So, from my experience, what I understand is, in India we call it product managers. Okay, maybe in Europe people may normally call it product owner, but maybe because they own the product end to end. But in India also we own the product end to end. I really don't know the answer of this.
All right. The next question, I'm just scrolling and yeah. How to get all the stakeholder on one table? Do we have any sprint method for the process?
Guys, we do have, so okay. So how we can do this? As I talk about product manager, okay, what we do, we product managers gather the requirement, okay, with the help of our team only, document that, and then send this document to different stakeholders. Instead of doing that, we can involve people in the requirement gathering stage. So normally, you can call for a meeting. You can, on daily basis, you can fix some time, like an hour, where you can call all your stakeholders, and where all stakeholders can explain from their experience that what they have, their opinion is about the customer. Okay, and then product managers and designers can go deeply into the feature and profile and persona of the customer and create the persona to understand the customer very well, why he thinks that way, okay, what he does throughout the day, in my industry what kind of credit card he's using, okay, and thinking on those aspects. So definitely, it can be part, it will be part of the sprint, definitely. And also on daily basis you can fix some time to discuss about the feature specification, where you talk about all the 5 stages which I explained in the slide. Okay, you talk about the very first stage where you empathize the customer, and going further until the prototyping. Okay, and even when you test it and see the results, then again you can iterate the process to find out more ways to solve the customer problem. So yeah, daily basis you can fix some time where your all stakeholder can come together and you can talk on these topics and discuss on these topics.
All right. There is a request by Ms. M. Sen Gupta that can you please reiterate the slide on strategic planning process?
Sure. Yeah.
I think an
Regarding
overview.
stages.
Yeah, I think an overview
Yeah.
is
Okay.
good.
Okay. Should I give the overview on this?
Yes.
Okay. So guys, strategic planning process is divided into 4 stages. Very first one is what we are doing now. It's about our current status. Okay. It is about identifying the implicit and explicit your current strategy. What is happening currently? What strategy you are following, whether it is implicit or explicit, and implementation. Assumption about who you are and what is your brand positioning or company positioning in the market and what the customer perceive you. Okay, it's also about finding what the competitors are doing, their trend, current strategy. And the second step here is what is happening in the environment. When you talk about strategy, it's also about taking care of the your surroundings, industry, what is happening there. So here it's about industry analysis and factors for competitive success. What are the factors of competitive success? Again, before that you need to find out, you need to do the competitive analysis, and where you can use SWOT, okay, as a competitive analysis framework. Plus there's one more framework which I use, okay, which talks about two things. First, you segment the competitors on the basis of strategic groups, and for every competitor you talk about what is their vision, what is driving them, what is their strategy, and how they are doing things, what are their core competencies, okay, and what are their assumptions about the market. On the basis of this, you create the profile of the competitor, where you think about, suppose you are taking some steps, what are the retaliatory action from the competitors, whether they will retaliate or not. If yes, then how they will change their strategy, and in what area as per their competence they could hit back. So, and the third is how should business be doing? Okay, it's about you are aware now about your vision, why your distance is there. Okay, you have your strategy set. Now it's a time to test the assumption and strategy, finding out strategic alternatives. Okay, and define the strategic choices. Okay, and once you do that, you define your long-term and short-term goals, what you have to achieve. And the final step is about how you can execute it. Now you have everything ready. It's about how you can execute it and go to the market. Okay, so it is about creating the action plans with full list and define the responsibilities that which team will do what. Okay, and even deeper into that, which member among each team, okay, will do what. And then you track the execution progress on daily basis, okay, to review and track the process, so that in case of delay you can ask number of questions, that how it got delayed and how it can be kept on track, so that we could solve everything and execute everything on time. Yeah, that's it about strategic planning.
All right. Thank you so much, Sudhanshu, for repeating the process. The next question is by Suman. She's asking how to get the clients involved at the first stages of empathy before presenting prototypes. Are there any tools which help to do better product mapping, creating prototypes, etc.?
Yeah. So I just okay. So let's take the example of prototyping. So there are many ways you can create prototyping, but here I recommend that you do low fidelity. Okay, you can easily design this. So like everybody, as this design thinking process involve all stakeholders. Stakeholder cannot be designers, okay? But I think you guys know very well how you can create the sketch on paper very simply. You just do that. Okay, the best thing is create a sketch on just sketch on paper, and just find out what features you like your customer to look at and use at. Plus, in addition to that, you can also use many some of the sketch of the tools, where you create the prototype wireframe tools. One of them is Balsamic, which I use very widely, and there are many other tools in the market. But I prefer it should be nice if you guys do on paper and using paper and pencil, okay? Because then you can clearly change, you can manipulate it what you learn from the previous stages. And once you work in group, you create something and you see your colleague has created something else, and you find that, yeah, definitely it's going to add value, then your design changes very suddenly, your prototyping changes very suddenly. So I would say the very first stage is about doing on paper, and there are many low fidelity tools. Balsamic is one of them.
All right. The next question is, do user experience and design thinking different? If so, can you please elaborate?
Hey, so design thinking. So user experience is outcome of design thinking. It's about you in design thinking is about you are trying to understand your customer, its need, and then you create a user experience so that you want him to go further and solve his problem to use your tool. So user experience is the outcome of design thinking. It's not different.
All right. The last question of the session is, how design thinking and client traction relate to each other?
Design thinking and client traction,
Attraction.
client interaction,
Attraction,
attraction.
Nishant has mentioned. Nishant, are you referring to client attraction? This is what you have read? He's not responding.
So
Yeah.
design thinking and client interaction is somehow related. Is the question about interaction or attraction?
He has written attraction. Nishant, can you just clear the doubt that what your question is all about? Is it? It is interaction. So it was a mistake, a typo error.
Okay. Okay, no problem. So, definitely. So, as you see, the very first stage of design thinking is about empathize with the customer. Definitely, you need to interact with your customer a lot. Okay, you need to create a mental map of your customer. What is his emotions? Is what he loves to do, how he thinks about, what is important for him, what kind of problem he's facing. For this, you need to have frequent interactions with your customer. Then only you can understand them. Okay, so definitely, for design thinking, customer interaction plays a very important role. And not only at the first stage, when you go through a journey also. So if I talk about the product management life cycle, in every stage, you talk with the customer. Let's first stage for requirement gathering, you understand your customer, get the requirement done. Once you develop the prototype, and that time also when you do the usability testing, that time also you see the customer experience, how the customer experience is. That time also you learn some of the attributes of the customer, might be some of the areas which also you can learn, like I have mentioned here also, learn from the prototype to spark new idea here. Okay, and when before launching, when you do the pilot phase also, there also you have learning about the experience your product is providing to the customer. And once your product is in live in production, that time also you get the feedback from customer about the experience they are facing. So the main aim of product manager is to create a product which can solve customer problems. So I feel in every stage of product management, customer interaction is necessary, but it is most important in the very first stage, with the empathize state, very empathize with the customer.
All right, Sudhanshu, I think we are about to end this session. So first of all, thank you so much for this great webinar and sharing your knowledge and experience on an interesting topic, wherein it included both strategic thinking and design thinking, two great and significant pieces in creating a fabulous product. So thank you so much, Sudhanshu, for coming and giving your time
It's
to
my
us.
pleasure. Talking to you guys and sharing my experience is totally my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And to all the audience, please do not forget to leave your feedback to help me better my future sessions. And thanks again, all of you, for your time. And thanks, Sudhanshu, for your time and effort. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks everyone. Also, you guys can connect me through my on my LinkedIn. Okay, and you just search in the LinkedIn Sudhanshu Jha, you will find me, and you can write your queries or anything you would like to share with me. Thank you everyone.
Absolutely.
Thanks for attending.
And the invite template also has Sudhanshu's credential, wherein if you'll click, so it'll take you to the LinkedIn profile. Thank you so much.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Ankita.
Thank,
Thank you.
thank you.